Here we go. The MLS regular season kicks off on Saturday. I've got the TFC jersey ready to go. We're hoping for a better season this year than last from Toronto. But outside of that, we're also hoping for some winning bets. And this Saturday and this weekend, we have 26 of the 29 teams will be in action over Saturday, Sunday, and now even Monday after the Portland and SKC game was moved to Monday due to extreme winter weather. LA versus LAFC has also been canceled due to weather as well. El Tráfico in the Rose Bowl will now have to wait all the way until July 4th. If you aren't a regular MLS or soccer bettor, this is a great league to get involved in for betting and excitement purposes. The average goal scored per game last season was 2.96. So anyone who says that there's no scoring in soccer simply just can't say that about Major League Soccer. A score line of 2-1 was the most common score, happening 12% of the time last season, and over half of the league, 15 of 28 teams in 2022, saw over 60% of their league games featuring goals coming from both teams in their games. We could go on and on about our love for MLS betting, but at this point, the preamble is just to say that when you find something that works, you run with it. There's a salary cap in MLS, and that creates a whole lot of parity, and it often makes it hard to predict outright winners on a week-to-week basis. However, you can typically count on goals, and lots of them. Hell, last season there was a single-day record of 57 goals in 13 games back on August 6th that broke the most goals in one day record in MLS. So with all that said, let's stick to what works. Let's bet on some goals, and let's pick our top bets for MLS Week 1 on this weekend. First up, we're going to start with Philadelphia Union and Columbus Crew. The Union broke the goal differential record last season at plus 46. They did so by scoring 72 goals and allowing only 26. They scored a goal in 31 of 37 regular season and playoff games and bring back every single starter. They have a legitimate shot as a favorite for MLS Cup. All I'm asking them to do here in this parlay is score just one goal. Next up, we'll pair that with something from the Austin and St. Louis FC game. Austin was second in the West, and they made it all the way to the Western Conference Final, losing to the champions, LAFC. They were 8-6-3, win, draw, loss at home, and scored the third most goals in the league. They'll be at home on Saturday against St. Louis City SC, who are playing their first ever MLS game. Let's go Austin to win, Philly to score at minus 134 odds, risking one unit. Next, we'll move on to the next parlay, and we're going to start with Cincinnati and Houston. The 64 goals that Cincinnati scored in 2022 were fourth in the league behind just Philly, LAFC, and Austin. The 57 goals conceded by Houston were better than just 5 teams in the league. FCC has a dynamic offensive trifecta, Luciano Acosta, Brenner, and Brendan Vasquez, who contributed to 46 of those 57 goals. Houston, meanwhile, allowed a goal in 28 of 34 games last season. Let's just pick Cincy to score. And we'll move on to DC versus Toronto. A meeting between two of last year's bottom 3 worst defensive teams is simply music to my ears. Recent games between these two have ended 2-1, 2-2, 3-1, 7-1, 2-2, 2-2, 5-1, and 1-1. You could likely bet plenty of goals in this game all by itself, but we're keeping it super simple, and we're just asking TFC to score 1 goal as part of this parlay. And for the final leg, we'll look to Atlanta and San Jose. We just touched on 2 of the 3 worst defensive teams from 2022, and here we have the 3rd worst team. San Jose ranked 27th in goals allowed at 69, but they could score with 52 goals, 17 of which came from Jeremy Ebobisse, who was 8th in the Golden Boot race. The Five Stripes defense was also poor last season, ranking 20th among 28 teams, giving up 54 goals. They've lost Joseph Martinez, though he's clearly lost a step anyway since his injury, and they've brought in Georgios Giacomakos, hopefully I'm saying that right, and Derek Etienne Jr. on offense. Giacomakos scored 26 goals over 18 months with Celtic in Scotland. Atlanta's preseason games this season have ended 3-3, 3-3, 4-3, and 2-1, while San Jose's preseason games were 2-2, 2-1, 2-1, 4-1, and 2-0. I see the theme here, and the theme is a lot of goals coming from both sides. This is another game where betting both to score or both to score and over 2.5 can net you more value by itself, but it's week 1, and we're just going to play it very safe. Let's just hope for over 1.5 goals combined between these two teams. To wrap up the parlay, we'll go Cincinnati to score, Toronto to score, and Atlanta and San Jose over 1.5 goals at minus 139 odds. Finally, we had a nice little plus money parlay here going for the 3rd bet with the LA Galaxy and LAFC match going both teams to score, paired up with something coming from the Portland and SKC match. But then the second MLS match this weekend went and got postponed due to bad weather. So rather than forcing another play into this parlay, let's just make a single bet on this Portland versus SKC match. And once again, we're backing both teams to score here. There were 14 goals scored between these two teams over just 2 games last season, with score lines of 7-2 and 4-1. No team had more of their games feature goals coming from both teams than Portland. It happened in 26 of their 34 games. They didn't improve much on the defense, and they've added a $10 million man in Evander in midfield, who was leading the Europa League in assists before his transfer. Meanwhile, all eyes will be on William Agata, who scored 8 goals to go with 2 assists in 11 games last season for Sporting. This bet's just straight and easy, minus 160 odds on Portland versus SKC for our third bet. Let's win this weekend. Good luck, everybody.